Yes, I'm getting.
This
But
session is relative. Why relative? Because it has a birth, this session has a birth, and this session has a death. Whether you say it's a beginning or end, and I'm a witness to that relative. Because I'm a witness to that relative, hence I cannot be relative. I cannot be relative. I'm a witness. But if I feel I am a part of that relative, then I take birth, grows, mature, and die. If I consider, claim that I'm a relative, then today you gave me stress, tomorrow you gave me pleasure. Pay attention, you have to contemplate and reflect. Now, see, let us do another just a few minutes of practice of Mangalacharan. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. We have been understanding that happiness is present in the same quantity and quality in all human beings and everywhere in all locations. If it is so, then happiness is the inherent, intrinsic nature. Pay attention. You're asking the intellect to have a conviction. Why? So that the mind has a false conviction. Mind has a false conviction on the relative that it is true. What is true? What is the false conviction? No, I have a stress, that is relative. You did not have a stress yesterday, and today you have it. Tomorrow you will not have it. Oh, this is what you're saying. Now, our masters are saying simply recognize. What is the meaning of recognition? Recognition in the intellect that blueness of the sky is false. Recognition. Very recognition is your experience. Now I'm dropping an atom bomb. What is that? Do you see the waves and all waves are water? That is one metaphor. So why not all human beings are happiness? Oh yes, it is happiness. Because happiness is the intrinsic nature. That too is also okay. Then the intellect says, no, but I don't experience. Why don't you experience? Because the moment you look at your honey, you look at your honey with the likes and dislikes. Why don't you see the honey and you are two waves of the same water? That is consciousness, that is happiness. Why don't you see it? Why you say it is theoretical and it is practical? Why don't you recognize it? So when you recognize that there is no water in the mirage, you recognize there is no blueness in the sky, why don't you recognize? Relative is your name and the form. Relative is the name and the form of your honey. There are two waves, but essence is the water. So there are two human beings, and essence is the happiness. Why don't you recognize it? Why you say that, it's why you say that, no, I don't understand, why you say that? It's a direct experience. That is what the Eastern wisdom is saying. Let us do it. Follow the second line. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Meaning, may there be peace for all. Very good. So why you think that you are simply doing it intellectually? You recognize that all waves are water, but you don't recognize that all human beings, their intrinsic nature is peace. Why it happens? Because I have a false belief from the mind. But I have a false belief, that is delusion. Delusion is caused by attachment and detachment, likes and dislikes, which is preventing me to recognize that peace is the essence of all the human beings are like waves. Why don't you recognize? Why you are stuck on your way of thinking? When you say it is relative, you are relative, I am relative with reference to the body and the mind. What is relative takes birth and dies. It is constantly changing. Oh, so for example, I take my honey with the name in the form as real. You take the water in the mirage as real. You take the blueness of the sky as real. Did you went to the sky to find out it is not blue? Why don't you recognize in your head? But there is another problem. That delusion has created a sense of very rigid thinking process, and that thought built my I that ego doesn't want to recognize. Are you understanding? I'm comparing side by side. You give me, did you went to the sky to find out it's not blue? Then only you'll have an experience. Masters are saying simply cognition. In modern psychology we have CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. Cognition, recognition. So my intellect recognizes and I don't move with that cognition. Why? Delusion, belief. The belief that comes from my past impression, I have kept it. This is true. And on the other side, everything is relative. You tell them, how come?
No, it's clear. The real self, no movement, no changing, because it's not relative. But everything what is change, what can be modified, or it's always relative.
So now I think, speak, and act in the world with reference to the water. Means with reference to one consciousness. When I see everything relative changes, my mind do not stop at the relative. It does not create a belief. Let it be dropped. Then honey says you are crazy and you have a smile on the face. Yes, I'm crazy. You are right. Why? It's relative. Why don't I recognize? Now go to the positive aspect. If I recognize, where is the problem? If I recognize, where is the problem?
Behavior.
Same thing, whether you say false belief, whether you say delusion, whether you say behavior expressed from that false belief or ego. So it means I have to get rid of whether you say delusion or ego or false belief. I have to just first check the belief, and then I have to brand that belief, this is a false belief. Then I have to drop this false belief from my mind itself without doing anything outside. Internally, I gave you the example. You don't go to the sky to see that, where is the blueness? I don't see it. And then you come back and then you say that that is my experience. Very recognition is your experience. What is preventing me? Whether you say it's an ego, it's a delusion, it's an attachment, which I take it as true. My deluded thought is, I claim, is right. And that is blocking me. Either you can understand on the basis of ego, deluded thought, past impression, impurities, whatever you want to say. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Every wave, now I am saying this, every wave minus its name in the form, its name and its shape. What it is? It's water. Tell me if it is not. So every human being minus its name and form and labels is, why don't I see it? No, I have to do practice. Come on, what practice you have to do? You have to do no practice. You are there. What practice you do to see the water in the waves? So who says that I have to do the practice? It is my ego. It is my deluded thinking. Why it is? I claim that deluded thinking is the right thinking. Who says this? My ego. Ego is not arrogance. We are not talking of ego in the modern world. We are talking ego in the mind, ego in the intellect. Ego comes from the memories. So that is what we are talking about. My identification. I maker. I maker is the ego. Who makes the I? My mind, my intellect, my memory. Think. So I have to contemplate and reflect. You are contemplating, reflecting, you will be absorbed into meditation. Nothing is left. Waves are no more. All is water. All is one consciousness. That is the role of a master in the Eastern wisdom. Based on your reflection, change the mood and the mode of the mind by knowledge, by cognition, by awareness, by understanding. That is what is. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. When there is oneness everywhere, oneness means there is only the water. Waves are relative. My honey is relative. My mother is relative. All these are labels. But I claim that these labels are real. Who is this I maker? Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. There is an auspiciousness everywhere, it is inherent, it is essential nature. So now I see the world outside minus my likes and dislikes, minus my belief, minus my attachment, minus my craziness, ultimately minus my relative. You see, where's the definition of relative? I relate. So where I relate, it becomes relative. Only one thing, when I relate to the water, there is only water. Now the mind is merged. Mind has dropped its duality, its conflict, reflection. That is what the masters are saying. Shravanam is the first step. Listening and learning. Second step is contemplation and reflection. You said waves and water. Let me understand. So all waves are water. How come all waves are water? Many reasons are given. The waves depend on the water. In the absence of water, there is no wave. So it means water is inherent, water is essential, water is independent of the wave. Water is independent of the waves. The waves appear, disappear. Label appear, disappear. Name and the form appear, disappear. They appear and disappear, that is why they are relative. You are free. Why? I am absolute. Why I am absolute? Because I see. I am the knower. Knower is always different from the known. Knower has to be different from the known. The real knower. That is how we gain the knowledge. If the knower is not different from the known, then they mess up. That mess up is known as identification. That mess up is known as attachment. That mess up is known as ego. So I say, okay, I want to see the wave with the messed up mind, with the crazy mind. Not possible. You cannot reach there. I have to recognize. I have not to mess up. I see the wave. I see the wave. I am different from the wave. I see the water. I am different also from the water in a metaphor. So all waves are nothing but the water. All my perceptions of the relative world is nothing but coming from the consciousness. My perception depends on the consciousness. Consciousness does not depend on the perception. My experience, my knowledge, my understanding of anything and everything depends on the consciousness. My understanding minus consciousness, there is no understanding. So that is why I've been stressing we have to every day in the morning survey or pick up any Shanti mantra, any mantra will do. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So one master explains that there are three Shanti. Either you reflect on it, the three levels of the suffering. One is physical suffering comes from others, they are relative, I am absolute. So, as such, there is no suffering. Adhyatmic, the mental suffering, coming from the mind, and then there's suffering from the nature, the flood and war, etc., etc. So Shanti, that is one explanation. Other explanation, the Shanti is my peace, is my essential nature. Peace to the body, mind, breath, intellect, and ego, and peace to the external world. So I'm seeing the one peace, one water in all the three levels. Cognition, again I'm seeing recognition. Why I'm not able to recognize what prevents me? You can name impurity, you can say projection, you can say superimposition, you can say delusion, you can say ego, whatever you want to say. So what all these, it identifies with what is relative. What is relative is changing. What is changing cannot be me. Why? I am aware of the change. I am also aware now this object is not changing. But when I see closely, I see it is keeps on changing. So whatever is changing falls into the relative, it falls into relative, it falls into the objective reality. I am the knower of everything. That knower is separate and independent, and that independent and separate is real me. That is the real self. That real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Think, think, think. You raised a good point, so think it. A sick person first admits, I am sick, I admit that I need a doctor before accepting the treatment. As a seeker, my mind says I have done all possible works to get rid of the suffering. Suffering continues. So I should get rid of all the thoughts of the past impression accumulated. You recognize that past impressions, my accumulated knowledge is not helping me. So that helplessness brings the humility. And what is that humility? I recognize that I need the help. Eastern wisdom is the helper. It may be with the teacher, without the teacher, that is different. Eastern wisdom is in knowledge. You remember that I have been saying it. Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge. It is a valid means of knowledge to know, to discover, to recognize who am I. Let us expand further. So, like a sick person, I feel sickness, yes. So if I'm not a seeker, what I do? I'm sick of this marriage, I will divorce and remarry. I've been saying it as my pet example. So I don't like this restaurant, I will like another restaurant. So I'm going for seeking the pleasure. A seeker recognizes that I'm doing the things repetitively, habitually, instinctively, automatically. I have to recognize. When I recognize and realize that this is not bringing me peace and happiness, so I recognize my mistake of repetition. and then I start searching. The moment there is a sense of humility. Why there is a sense of humility? Because now mind, I don't want to follow you. I don't know. So there is a humility. That humble mind accepts the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, and then you identify the areas of the life where you feel helpless or confused. That is, confusion is delusion, and confusion is sickness. So I study under the teacher, that's good. Without the teacher, that too is good. And I recognize where is the problem. Why I go on repeating the same pleasure? Because of attachment. One, because of ignorance. Two, because of my impulsive nature. Because of my addiction. Oh, is that the real disease? Yes. Why it is a real disease? I'm focused on your statement. Why it's a real disease? Because I'm seeking happiness from what is relative, what is constantly changing, which is not possible. So I recognize I will drop it. Whatever it takes me, I'll drop it. So this process of dropping and recognizing is called surrender. Surrender is not that you go and touch the dirty feet of a teacher and you are infected with the virus. It is symbolic. It has to be done, but yes. So you touch physically, and you ask the mind, "Are you also going down?" Going down, yes. I'm also going down. Why you are going down? Because I'm humble. Why I'm humble? Because I have found I have no solution at all. So let me understand what you have to say from the Eastern wisdom. That is a physical. So it begins with the physical and then emotional, and then at the level of the intellect, I recognize. When I recognize, there is a conviction. I have a conviction all waves are water. Clear? Why I don't have a conviction all humans are? That is the disease. That disease has to be removed. What is the process? That is what we are learning. That is what we are learning. So it means I have to religiously, with commitment, I have to follow each of these 40. So surrender is not a weakness. For 3 years, I'm taking session, giving lessons to this New Jersey group. Out of one who is full of ego, he claims that he is very intelligent. So in the first term, when Trump was winning 8 years ago, he suffered from tremendous anxiety and depression, and he had some problem in the heart. Ego. So everyone, I'm coming to the main topic. I'm not talking of politics. So for the last 3 years, everyone says namaste. So at least, it's a beginning of a humility. Oh, yes, yeah, hi, yeah, bye. Bye, okay. Now, after 3 years, yesterday in a session, he folded his hand. And you think that you will change only in one session. To learn to be humble, it took you 3 years. Yeah, he is intelligent. Many people are intelligent. Then what? Yesterday, it was only half. And then he was shivering. Why should I do it? So still that confusion lies in him. So that is why our masters use the physical means also and explained it. Namaste, you are me and I am you. That is one meaning. Why? Two waves are communicating with each other. I am you, you are me. At what level? At the level of the water, at my intrinsic nature, not outside. Not at the level of the body, name, form, and the shape. It's only a recognition, cognition. I was talking to this therapist. I said, this is a much better cognitive behavior therapy than yours in modern psychology. One psychotherapist also attends my sessions. So, surrender is not a weakness, it is wisdom, recognizing the limits of my ego and opening to the higher possibilities. What is higher possibilities? To the absolute, we will go to the absolute.
Karma yoga is also kind of surrender.
Yeah, karma yoga. Karma yoga, I wake up, no, the moment I attend the session, I'm giving you the lesson, I see, oh, your name and shape is different, but internally I see that you are the same divine. You are the same real self. So I'm doing work for the real self. So that ego doesn't touch. When I see in the entire group, I see, oh, all are Krishna sitting, Shiva sitting. So it changes. Yes, karma yoga also changes. So you see that what is the ultimate goal of this teaching of the Eastern wisdom is to come face to face with the truth. Pay attention when I say come to face with the truth. Truth means what? Truth is the knowledge that remains the same all the time. That is why we say it is the truth. The false keeps on changing. Truth. Now I'm upset with you, honey. Oh, mind. You were not upset yesterday. It was he or she was a soulmate before. Oh, my mind is changing. First, I recognize there is a cognition. Hold on. I will not say you are upset. No, or everything is good outside. Sometimes you meet my expectations and sometimes you don't meet my expectations. That is the only thing. It has nothing to do with the upset. I recognized what is going on in my mind and I'm happy now. Instantly I'm happy. It is not a theory or a practice. It is both together. I just recognized, finished. What I recognized in my head. Now go the other way. Honey, you have to sit down, you have to listen to me. I'll give you a big talk, but he or she is not ready to change. So you get more frustrated. You recognize what is changing. I cannot see the truth. Truth is unchanging. That is what the Eastern wisdom teaches, because I am not able to recognize means cognition. I don't have that experience. Whether you say I don't have that perception, whether you say I don't have that knowledge, I don't have that experience, perception, knowledge, and experience, more or less they go together. So, at the highest level, we are talking today at the highest level, that we can reach to that state here and now, if not 40 steps. If not 40 steps. Simple. Well, let us move step by step. So, what What exactly is the vision by millions of waves and one essence is the water? It brings the personal freedom. I'm sitting with you, I'm sitting with the second person, I'm sitting with the third person, I'm sitting with my relative. Oh, it's a personal freedom. Liberation from the fear, anxiety, and the suffering. It's my personal freedom. So, what happens with the personal freedom now? I have I have a cognition. My anxiety was a delusion. My anger was a delusion, or I-ness or ego. So now, if one becomes anxious in my presence, what is my attitude? I have an attitude of compassion. I have an inner smile. Come on, yes, I also used to have an anxiety. I'm not worthy of anxiety. I'm not worthy of suffering. So Buddha moves with the compassion. No, every master moved with the compassion. I have recognized, you did not recognize. That is the only difference. So it's a universal compassion. So what the teacher does with the universal compassion, they go on talking and talking until you reach to this state. So you see, everything is natural now. Universal compassion, seeing the same essence in all the beings, in the beings present before the teacher who claims that I have lot of delusion, stress and suffering, I have a problem. Come on, so based on their temperament, their level of evolution and awareness, we talk, we pick up the principle and we talk. But it is out of compassion. Do you create compassion? No. It is so natural. You need not to work on it. Now pay attention. So first I said personal freedom. So you bring an end to the suffering. You have a freedom from the anxiety, stress, and duality. Why? Because I'm not worthy of suffering. You have such a tremendous conviction in your intellect. What is conviction? You have a cognition. What is that cognition? You have a perception, you have a knowledge, you have an experience. I am not worthy of suffering. Very clear. Now, because of that, you have recognized, you have realized, you have experienced. So, when you look at the world, Buddhism has talked in detail about the compassion, but every teacher has the same compassion, universal compassion. Now you have both. What is the next step? As long as the teacher lives, they do the natural service. They are active. Why they are active? They do the karma yoga. Why they do the karma yoga? Because I cannot live without action. If I start living without action, my body will suffer. My mind will suffer. So what kind of an action? It is natural service to the people. Whosoever approaches. It is not that they intentionally do this service. It is natural. The waves and the wind is there. Wind. One student is there, so that is the wind, and it allows the teacher to manifest that reality. That is called the natural service. Nobody does any service. No teacher does the service. It is so natural. Why it is so natural? You consistently recognize and experience that peace and that happiness, that love, that wisdom. I made it differently, and if you study the Gita, we understand there are 6 attributes of the real self. You are settled. Now reflect on what is the meaning of being settled. You are settled. Pay attention that I'm settled. So I'm settled in one thing means there is no two thing. There is no two thing, there is no duality. There is no duality, there is no confusion in the conflict. Where? Here. A perfect cognition, right cognition. What is that right cognition? Real self is of the nature of truth. That is why it is real. It is unchanging. What changes cannot be real. Second attribute, it is eternal. What is the meaning of eternal? It was present in the past, it is present now, it is going to be present in the future also. Time does not destroy that real self. Third, it is indestructible. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be damaged. So when it cannot be damaged, all the first 3 helps us to recognize, then it means it is all pervading. Yes, it is all pervading. Fifth one. Fourth one is it is all pervading. So when it is all pervading, can anything of the name and the form be all pervading? Answer is no. So anything of the name and the form is an object, and real self is the subject. So it means we say the real self cannot be objectified. And the last one, it cannot be modified. Modified means it is not subject to change. It does not appear or disappear. I may recognize, I may not recognize. I can only see the waves and not the water. So our Master Krishna says these are the 6 characteristics of the real self. Why? From where we started our discussion, relative and absolute. So can I say it is absolute? Yes. Why it is absolute? It does not go under any change. It is neither, it is present in all the 3 times. It is real, it is indestructible, it is all pervading, it cannot be objectified. Oh, that is why it is absolute. Yes, that is why it is absolute. So who is this absolute? That is I am. No, but I have a problem with you, so I enter into relative, delusion, ignorance, and long list. We need only a cognition. Cognition, you can say awareness, or you can also use the word, many masters uses the word mindfulness is also that cognition, that recognition. It is that. Pick up only one example, the waves to water. I am with the name in the form, my honey is name in the form. So 2 waves with the water is a consciousness. Your mom has come, 3 waves with a consciousness. Daughter has come, 4 waves with a consciousness. I am saying the cognition. I am not saying that you do the practice. What practice you do to recognize me? So what is recognize? Recognize is recognition. That is what I'm saying. So you have a knowledge, you also have an experience. Then I'm here with you. That's a big difference between the scientific processes to find the objective reality, because you have a theory, you have a manual, you have a protocol, and then you experiment. Here they both go together because I'm finding the subjective reality. Who is understanding? Who is understanding? I am. Where I am? I am here and now. Mobile phone. No, I have to put the chip and then I have to put the battery, let it charge, then I have to open it. No, yes, it's a theory and practical in science. It works. So if the mind is not going there, maybe lack of thinking and contemplation or past impression, and then we say, then this master says, follow in a simple way. So we will start understanding again Vedu Nityam Adhiyatam. The first step, study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. I translate in a different way. Normally, literal translation is studies the Vedas. Veda means study the knowledge about yourself, study the Upanishads, study the text. That is one. So I study Tadutam Karma Swanusthyatam. The second one, instantly the master says, if you remain inactive, the tamasic guna will take over you. We already understand in modern life, sedentary lifestyle causes lot of problems. Sedentary lifestyle is that I'm lazy, I don't want to do it. So do the karma. How to do the karma? Karma has one defect, that I cannot exist without action. Second defect, that all the actions or all the karma at present is guided by my preferences, likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment, duality and a conflict, and the ego. So one thing is very clear, I cannot live without karma, so I have to do the karma. So I have an option now. I can continue to do the karma with attachment, detachment, duality and a conflict, or I can convert this karma to the karma yoga. Second step. Why to do that? Because if I don't do that, the knowledge in the first step will not be settled in my intellect. Look at the interconnections. Ene shasya vidhiyatam chitti. Offer all actions to the existence. So now, it means I have to study, I have to understand in the first step, who is Ishwar, why to offer all actions to the Ishwar, or does it help, does it not help? So the third step, offer all actions to the Ishvara. So there are many ways. Prakriti. Prakriti means three gunas. Three guna means sato, raju and tamo guna. So it means all actions are performed in the relative world by the Prakriti. I overburden those activities as if I am the doer. So after recognition and understanding that I am not the doer, let me drop it. To drop it to home, in the beginning I have to drop. I should have an altar. Altar means whether it's a Shiva or Krishna or Jesus or anyone, or the highest vision of my life. I have to find the real self. So I can even offer all my actions to, no, I will raise my skill to the next level. Why I'm not able to be aware? Don't follow God. It's okay. It will work. So both the third step, we will first cover 8 steps, their interconnections, and that is very important. It lays a strong foundation. So then the fourth step comes, but how the second and third step, uh, how I can gain proficiency in the second and third step if I don't understand the binding desire and the simple desire. I cannot progress. That is what the fourth step is. My mind insists me again and again to go to the same restaurant to eat the same pasta. It is a binding desire. So one example. So same thing, I have hundreds of mind keeps on insisting. The master is saying, I have to find out why you are insisting that you have an anxiety. Come on, mind. Why you are insisting that you have a stress because of your honey? Because he or she doesn't agree with you, and that's why you are in stress. So you are seeking situational happiness. You are seeking comfort from outside, from a situation event, and where you experience the happiness inside, and you are asking the event should change. Is it possible? Not possible. So once we understand, so we start recognizing, come on, here is my insistence, here is my delusion, here is the I is insisting a particular event, a person, a lot of things. But still the past impression is hard to go. So it results into sins, merit and demerit. So then I closely look at the merit and demerit. And I find out the ways to get rid of this merit and demerit. Then I find out the defect. Sixth step, the worldly pleasure, I find the defect in the world. So there is a doubt, which I talked of the relative. You see, the sixth step gives you a relative perception. Oh, all my relative knowledge, perception, experience, working, action has an element of an attachment, and that is why I run after them. Running after creates a veil, a covering over my mind, which prevents me to see all waves are water, and hence I have to remove the defects in my mind pertaining to the worldly pleasure. The world as it is good. Pasta will remain as it is. Sugar will remain as it is. It is not going to change. I have to change my mind interpretation about the pasta. That will drop the insistence. So what happens when you do the practice of the 6 steps? Your mind says, what is left? Only thing is left that I don't know the real self. So now the mind is so much natural. It has a strong desire for self-realization. So now the mind is totally, if I use the word obsessed in a right manner, mind is obsessed, honey, water, employee, water, money, water, everything. Where is the real self? Eighth step. You have left the home of worldly desires. You have left the home of binding desires. You have left the home of merit and demerits. You have left the home of the karma. That will help us. We become a great seeker, and a great seeker now understands what is the importance of discernment and dispassion. That is our ninth step. 10th, now master come. It should be the first, but this master says no, first you follow this. Otherwise, master says, if I define discernment, you will take it intellectually, you will not follow. The ninth step is the satsang, 10th, and 11th step is the six treasures. There are three more steps, and then mind is prepared. We are a higher level of a seeker. I will explain you. Did I explain you? We have three levels of being a seeker, and there are three levels of a teacher. 3 levels of a seeker and 3 levels of a teacher. 3 stages or 3 levels, you can say. So that seeker is not disturbed by anything moving into the mind. Even it has the prarabdha, the past impression, it has a natural focus. And then you listen to the teachings and you reach there.